Takumitak ESCORT. Welcome to Doug Shoe Bushcraft. Takumitak ESCORT. The model number is TKF213SL. Comes with this Kydex sheath with a subtle logo. It's got a Tech-Lock type attachment that unclips. I really like that because that way I can put this on my belt without taking my belt off. Got a nice lock. Don't think I'm ever going to lose that on the trail. G10 handle. D2 steel blade. Serrations. Really nice saw. Taken this out in the woods a couple times already. Nice thick slab of steel. It's 5mm thick. This limb came down in a storm. Still a little bit green. Okay, so that's more a job for a hatchet or an axe. So for an 11-inch knife, very good. So Takumitak contacted me, asked if I was interested in reviewing any of their knives. I said yes. I picked out this one. And some of the viewers might be wondering why it's not old-timey. You know, a lot of times they have the wooden handle knives that look like they're right out of the 1800s. But I've carried stuff like this a lot of times over the years. In my mind, it's more like a multi-tool because the serrations are excellent for cutting through rope or somewhat softer materials, like if I have to get into something like a 5-gallon bucket or that sort of material. That's good, and I'd consider that a form of a saw. The only thing is the blade grind of the serrations. With a wood saw, for example, you want offset teeth so that when you're sawing that you're actually making a slightly bigger hole than your saw blade, because otherwise your saw will bind up. So serrations are good for things where you're not going to be going down very far, something soft like rope. But it's very aggressive and just makes speedy work of a lot of different things. But then this saw here, notice how fine those teeth are. So that will cut wood, and basically it looks to me like that's the same width as the rest of the blade. For a really good wood saw, you'd want a little bit wider, but as wide is okay. But where it would shine was even in some metals, or bone, or some metals, softer metals, not like a hardened padlock hasp or something like that. But you know, aircraft skin, or maybe not the padlock itself, but what it connects to, or like a chain link fence, something like that. Looks like a very aggressive saw, and from what I've used it, it works very well. That's not decoration. A lot of these so-called survival knives you see on the internet has something that looks like a saw and it's completely blunt and useless. This one, this one's functional. I'll at least test it on wood to show you. This has been off the ground drying out. Very hard. I think that may be oak, we'll find out. So this saw will saw wood, obviously. Hardwood doesn't slow it down at all. But the teeth are closer together than you'd want if it was a saw exclusively for wood and it's not like ejecting the sawdust. The sawdust is a really fine powder almost because of the fine teeth, and it doesn't eject it. And that's because it's like a multi-purpose saw. Now even some of your lighter metals you could saw with that. I talked to a lot of people about knives, and this type of knife in particular. A lot of people want a plain edge, not a serrated edge. And their reasoning is that plain edge is better for carving because you want to use this part of the blade, the base of the blade, near the handle for carving. And if the serration's right there, it gets in the way. However, I'm not disagreeing with them necessarily, but however, I carry this every day. Over Torinox Tinker. And I find a really thin blade like that, it's actually better for carving in those small tasks. So then, if I have a secondary blade, it can be something big and beefy, and if it has like serrations and a saw, turn it more into a multi-tool. And what are you carving anyway? Now if you're carving feathers, you got a fire going. Well, over the years I've carved a lot of feathers with serrated knives. So it's different. Be something to get used to. Be used to a plain edge. But definitely can carve you some feathers. That's arguably better. Look how thin those are. Very easily. Thank you to Takumitak for sending me the knife. Thank you guys for tuning in, and those are my thoughts. I value yours, so please leave them in the comments. I'll be back soon. Owe nothing to anyone, except for your obligation to love one another. If you love your neighbor, you will fulfill the requirements of God's law. Romans 13:8.